So last week we read this voice, we read this call that Aswapati received. The canto is called The Call to the Quest. And of course this refers to the call which Aswapati gives or conveys to Savitri, her call to the quest. But it's also our call to the quest, what we read last week. And the voice says to humanity, how long will you tread the circling tracks of mind around your little self and petty things? And we were told that the earth is waiting for us to help her to take the next step in her evolution. So now in what I'm going to read, this he is man, humanity. He loves the ignorance, fathering his pain. A spell is laid upon his glorious strengths. He has lost the inner voice that led his thoughts, and masking the oracular tripod seat, a specious idol fills the marble shrine. The great illusion wraps him in its veils. The soul's deep intimations come in vain. In vain is the unending line of seers. The sages ponder in unsubstantial light. The poets lend their voice to outward dreams. A homeless fire inspires the prophet tongues. Heaven's flaming lights descend and back return. The luminous eye approaches and retires. Eternity speaks. None understands its word. Fate is unwilling and the abyss denies. The inconscient's mindless waters block all done. Only a little lifted is mind's screen. The wise who know see but one half of truth. The strong climb hardly to a low-peaked height. The hearts that yearn are given 1 hour to love. His tale half told falters the secret bard. The gods are still too few in mortal forms. The voice withdrew into its hidden skies, but like a shining answer from the gods, approached through sun-bright spaces Savitri. Advancing amid tall heaven-pillaring trees, apparelled in her flickering coloured robe, she seemed burning towards the eternal realms, a bright moved torch of incense and of flame, that from the sky-roofed temple soil of earth, a pilgrim hand lifts in an invisible shrine. There came the gift of a revealing hour. He saw through depths that reinterpret all, limited not now by the dull body's eyes, new found through an arch of clear discovery, this intimation of the world's delight, this wonder of the divine artist's make, carved like a nectar cup for thirsty gods, this breathing scripture of the eternal's joy, this net of sweetness woven of aureate fire. We can go back to line 371, line 88. Nargis, yes. Would you begin, please, Nargis?
A spell is laid upon his glorious strength. He has lost the inner voice that led his thought, and masking the oracular tripod seat, a specious idol fills the marble shrine.
So this is talking about us, no? This voice is complaining that man, humanity, loves the ignorance that is giving birth to all our suffering. And it says that it's as if the glorious strengths, the divine strengths that are within us are under a spell. Somebody has done magic and prevented those strengths from being able to act. So man has lost the inner voice that led his thoughts. As if in some past time humanity was more open to the inner voice, to the power of intuition. And masking the oracular tripod seat, a specious idol fills the marble shrine. In several places in the poem, Sri Aurobindo speaks about this tripod seat. On one level, it's an allusion to the oracle at Delphi in Greece, in ancient Greece, in this center which is sacred to the god Apollo, the sun god, the lord of the muses. There was a cave, and there was a priestess, the Pythia, and people from all over Greece, and particularly the city-states, if there was any important matter to be decided, they would ask this oracle to advise, to give an answer. So she used to sit on a tripod, a seat with 3 legs. And in some places, Sri Aurobindo seems to give this tripod seat a significance, that for us it is the tripod seat of our body, our life, and our mind. These are the 3 seats on which our soul sits. So within us we have such a tripod seat, no? But we don't have that oracle which should guide us is hidden, it's masked, it's hidden by a specious idol, a false image of the divine. An idol, no, it's an image of a divinity, something that's specious, it's pretending to be a true figure of the divine, but it isn't. So that specious idol fills up that shrine where the true oracle should be. It's no longer available to us. This may be the reason, perhaps, or the vital mind. You'll read, Suresh.
The great illusion was in its wells. The soul dimensions come in vain. In vain is the unending line of sage. The sage wandered in unsubstantial light. The poets lend their voice to outward dreams. A formless fire inspired the prophet tongues.
Yes. So mankind, all of us, we are wrapped up in the veils of illusion, the great illusion. We can't see things as they really are. We can't see the truth. But there are supposed to be guiding lights. We're supposed to be able to get guidance from our soul. But it says, the soul's deep intimations come in vain. Our soul may be giving us messages, but we are not paying any attention to them. And this unending line of seers, all the great rishis who come one after the other, but we don't pay attention to them either, or we don't believe what they tell us. No? There are sages, there are people who are seeking wisdom, maybe have found some wisdom, but they ponder, the voice says, they are thinking, musing, concentrating in unsubstantial light. They may see some light, but that light is not solid enough, not strong enough to give the true illumination. And poets, too, should be able to point us towards the truth. That was always the role, the traditional role of the poets, to be able to express truths and insights that ordinary people couldn't access. And they would express them in memorable lines, in mantras. But nowadays, he says, the poets lend their voice to outward dreams. They are not speaking about visions and voices and high insights. They use their gift of language for other purposes. And the other people who maybe should guide us and help us are the prophets, who tell us where we are now and what is going to happen and what we need to do in order to have a better future. But those prophets, we have many prophets today who tell us many things, but a homeless fire inspires the prophet tongues. The true prophets must be inspired by the Agni fire that has its soul in the heart of everything. No? But the modern day prophets are giving expression to another kind of fire, another kind of aspiration that doesn't have a firm foundation and a solid home. So it all sounds very discouraging and depressing. Dhanalakshmi.
Heaven's flaming lights descend and back return. The luminous eye approaches and retires. Eternity speaks, none understands its word. Fate is unwilling and the abyss denies. The inconscient's mindless waters blot all down.
Yes. We can apply these things to our perception of the world, but of course this voice is supposed to be speaking to us, Svapati, long, long back in the past. But it's always like that, that humanity is receiving these voices that sound very discouraging. So those wonderful lights of heaven come down in the form of messengers and avatars, but they can't stay long. They return back to heaven. Maybe even some message comes to us from beyond time. Eternity speaks, but none of us can understand what it's telling us. And fate, all the determining conditions of life in the material world, it's unwilling, it's resistant, it doesn't respond. And the abyss, the dark lower depths, they just refuse to recognize the truth. And whatever spiritual achievements or evolutionary achievements may have been made, the inconscient's mindless waters block all down. That drag of the inconscient, of the preconscient, the mindless waters, all the cosmic energies. Would you read, please? Yes.
Only a little lifted is mind's screen. The wise from all see but one half of truth. The strong climb harder to the low peaked height. The hearts that turn are given 1 hour to lie. His tale half told faltered the secret part. The gods are still too few in mortal forms.
So this is a voice of regret and reproach. Something has been done, but this screen of mind has only been lifted a little bit. Still, so much is screened. There are sages, wise people who have some knowledge, but they are only seeing one half of the truth. This is what the Ishopanishad tells us. We have to see the knowledge and the ignorance as one. So if we only know the knowledge, we only know one half of the truth. There may be strong souls making a great effort, climbing with great effort, but they can only reach a low-peaked height. They can't go very far. There are all these limitations. There are hearts that are full of love and compassion, the hearts that yearn for divine love, for higher perfection. But how short is our life? No? We're given 1 hour to love. And there's this secret bard, the poet within us, a poet, no? He has some knowledge, but he can only tell half of his story, and then his voice falters. He can't tell us anything more. No? So the voice says, the gods are still too few in mortal forms. Mankind is not yet able to fulfill its divine function. We are still petty adventurers and prisoners of a dwarf humanity. We haven't yet woken up to our true power and our true mission.
What is this bard?
The,
secret bard.
the bard, I suppose it is the inner guru. I'm not sure, but that's what I think, something like that. That we're carrying all the scriptures, all the shastras within us, no? But it hasn't been fully revealed yet. Mahalingam, you would read?
The voice withdrew into his hidden skies, but like a shining answer from the gods, approached through semi-bright spaces Savitri.
Yes, she comes like an answer to this complaint. No? There she is. She is going to fulfill this mission. The voice draws back into its hidden skies, but as if an answer, as if the gods have sent a shining answer, Savitri comes near to Asvapati. He's been hearing that voice, no? Savitri approaches through sun-bright spaces. It's as if she's carrying the sunlight with her. And there's a beautiful description of her appearance. You would read, Kunsun?
Advancing only the tall heaven, dividing trees, above in her flickering color glow, she seemed, borne towards the eternal realms, or bright moved the torchful incense and of the flame, that from the sky looked the temple soil of earth. A pilgrim hand lives in an invisible shadow.
Yes. So here's Savitri coming. She's wearing a flickering colored robe. Flickers like the sunlight, an changing, moving light. And he says she seems to be like a torch, not like one of our flashlights, but like the old-fashioned kind of torch which was burning. You know? She's like a burning torch, and she's burning upwards towards the eternal realms, the realms beyond time. A bright, moved torch of incense and of flame. So there's that beautiful scent of sacrifice also. And this, it's as if this torch, which is Savitri, is being held up from in the, as if the sky, the earth and the sky together form a temple. The sky-roofed temple soil of earth. And there, this torch is being lifted up by a pilgrim hand, somebody who's aspiring, who's on a journey, on a quest, is holding up this torch of aspiration and of promise. Joanne.
There came the gift of a revealing hour. He saw through depths that reinterpret all, limited not now by the dull body's eyes, new found through an arc of clear discovery, this intimation of the world's delight, this wonder of the divine artists make, carved like nectar cup for thirsty gods, this breathing scripture of the eternal's joy, this net of sweetness, woven of aureate fire.
So this he here in line 119, this is Aswapati. He's been hearing the voice, now he sees Savitri approaching like an answer. And of course he's seen her very often, it's a very familiar appearance, but now came the gift, a blessing of a revealing hour. He sees her differently, not just the physical appearance. He sees her through deep spaces that give a new meaning to what he sees, depths that reinterpret all, limited not now by the dull body's eyes. He's not seeing just with his physical eyes. Something is revealed to him. And he sees her newfound. He's seeing her in a completely new way, as if through an arch, a gateway of clear discovery. He sees her as this intimation of the world's delight. An intimation is a message, no? It can be just a hint. It's not the full message. It's a sign of the delight that has brought this whole world into existence. He sees that she's a wonder of the divine artist's make. She's been made by the divine artist in a wonderful way. And he's like a nectar cup. The gods drink nectar, and that keeps them immortal. That sweetness, that delight keeps them immortal. So it's as if her body, her form is carved as a cup to hold that nectar, which is the elixir of immortality of the gods. And he sees her as a breathing and living scripture. She's revealing the message of the joy of the eternal. And this form of hers is like a net of sweetness. It's catching, holding things, full of honey, of ananda. And this net is woven from aureate fire. Beautiful word. Aureate, golden fire. So this is the fiery aspect of Savitri, the fire and the sweetness, the miraculous beauty.
Transformed, the delicate image face became a deeper nature self-revealing sign. A gold leaf
Palimpsest.
palimpsest of sacred birds. A grave word symbol chiselled out of life.
So there's that delicate face which she usually wears, but now he sees it in a different way. It becomes the self-revealing sign of a deeper nature. And a gold leaf palimpsest of sacred births. Palimpsest is a manuscript which has been written and then cleaned somehow and written over again and again and again. So he is seeing something of the many births of Savitri. But there's layers and layers and layers of sacred births. It's as if he can see that revealed in her. And all this is as if written on gold leaf. This wonderful golden color which is typical of Savitri. And this face also is grave. She's not a giggling girl. She looks quite serious, even smilingly serious, like we see the pictures of Mother when she was a young woman. The face is grave, no? Yeah. And it's a world symbol. It's standing for such deep meanings, and it's been chiselled out of life. A chisel is the tool that a sculptor uses, no? To reveal out of the stone the image. Ganga Lakshmi?
Or draw a copy of clear ancestral events, was meditation's pedestal and defense, the very room and smile of musing space, its roaming line infinity's symbolical.
So the brow, it's a very important part of the face. And we could count, I think, at least 4 descriptions in the poem of Savitri's brow. No? Here it says her brow, it's like a copy or a reflection of the sky, of clear, unstained heavens. And it seems to be a pedestal. A pedestal is a base where we put a statue or a building. It's a pedestal for meditation. And it protects the meditation also, pedestal and defense. It's the very room, the room itself, and smile. There's something clear and smile, that smile of the meditating Buddha, perhaps, of musing space. This wonderful, clear brow. The line of the brow, he says, is brooding. So again, there's that idea of meditation, of deep concentration. But it seems to be a curve that symbolizes all infinity. Tatiana, would you read?
Amid her tresses cloudy multitude, her long eyes shadowed as by wings of night, under that moon gold forehead's dreaming breath, were seas of love and thought that held the world. Marveling at life and earth, they saw truths far.
So here the hair, her tresses, her hair, they're like a cloud. There's so much. She has rich, dark hair. And through them we can see her eyes. He says long eyes. This is the Indian ideal of beauty. No? Eyes shaped like fishes. And they are shadowed by the eyelids and the lashes, the eyelashes, as by wings of night, dark lashes. But the color of the forehead of the brow is moon gold, light gold color. It's dreaming breadth. There are the eyes, seas of love and thought that held the world. And those eyes, they marvel at life and earth. In the very first description he gave of Savitri back in Canto 2. He said that when, as a child, she first opened her eyes, she finds all this so surprising, so amazing, because it's so unlike what she has known in her own higher realm. So they see life and they see earth, but at the same time they see distant truths, far away truths. Martin.
The deathless meaning filled her mortal limbs. As in a golden vase's poignant line, they seemed to carry a rhythmic sob of bliss, of earth's nude adoration towards heaven, released in beauty's cry of living form, towards the perfection of eternal things.
So the mortal limbs, the body, are filled with something that is not mortal, with something that is deathless, a deathless meaning. And this body is like a golden vase, a beautifully designed and made vase. The lines of it are poignant, they are deeply moving. But the limbs seem to carry like an offering, the rhythmic sob of bliss of earth's mute adoration towards heaven, as if something is being lifted up, the adoration of the earth towards the higher levels, and this sob of ecstasy is released, it's set free in beauty's cry of living form. The living form is an expression in beauty or by beauty. It's offered upwards towards the perfection of eternal things. Rosa?
Transparent glow, the ephemeral living dress, bird, the expressive deity to his view.
View, yes. View, yes. So it's as if the body has become transparent. When something's transparent, you can see through it. So usually with the physical eyes we see the body solid, no? But now it's grown transparent. And this body is an ephemeral living dress. It's just a dress that the soul puts on for a lifetime. No? It doesn't last long, it will pass. No? But now this outer body becomes transparent and bared, it reveals, it lays bare the expressive deity, the divine form, to his view. Asvapati can see the divine being who's inhabiting the form.
Escaped from surface sight and mortal sense, the seizing harmony of its shape's decay, the strange, insignificant icon of a power, renewing its inscrutable descent into a human figure of its works, that stood out in life's bold, abrupt relief on the soil of the evolving universe, a godhead sculptured on a wall of thought, mirrored in the flowing hours and dimly shrined in matter as in a cathedral cave.
So this continues the description of how he sees the form of Savitri. It has escaped from surface sight and mortal sense, the physical senses. The seizing harmony of its shapes, of this form. They are harmonious, they catch hold of you, of him, and they form, they become an icon. An icon is another word for an image of the divine. A strange, significant icon of a power, a divine power that is renewing its inscrutable descent, like it's coming down again. And this power is once more descending into the material world. This inscrutable descent, mysterious, difficult for us to understand. Its descent into a human figure, which is its own creation of its own works. And this human figure of Savitri stands out like a sculpture that is not just indicated on the surface of the stone, but has really been cut out into bold relief so that it's three-dimensional. This figure has been sculpted there on the soil of the evolving universe. A Godhead sculptured, but it's not sculptured in stone on a temple wall, it's sculptured on a wall of thought. It's reflected in the flow, the flowing hours, in the flow of time, and it's dimly shrined in matter. The deity is there enshrined as in a cathedral cave. A cave, we can have a sacred cave, but this is a cathedral cave. A cathedral is a very important shrine, not just a small niche, not even a little chapel, but a big, important. So the whole of matter is like a cathedral cave enshrining this beautiful golden body, signifying the presence of a power that has come down again into human form. So I think we'll stop there for today. We'll read it one more time, and then if anybody has any questions to ask, they can, if there's anything we're still doubtful about. A spell is laid upon his glorious strengths. He has lost the inner voice that led his thoughts, and masking the oracular tripod seat, a specious idol fills the marble shrine. The great illusion wraps him in its veils. The soul's deep intimations come in vain. In vain is the unending line of seers. The sages ponder in unsubstantial light. The poets lend their voice to outward dreams. A homeless fire inspires the prophet tongues. Heaven's flaming lights descend and back return. The luminous eye approaches and retires. Eternity speaks, none understands its word. Fate is unwilling, and the abyss denies. The inconscient's mindless waters block all done. Only a little lifted is mind's screen. The wise who know see but one half of truth. The strong climb hardly to a low-peaked height. The hearts that yearn are given 1 hour to love. His tale half told falters the secret bard. The gods are still too few in mortal forms. The voice withdrew into its hidden skies. But like a shining answer from the gods, approached through sun-bright spaces Savitri, advancing amid tall heaven-pillaring trees, apparelled in her flickering-coloured robe. She seemed burning towards the eternal realms, a bright moved torch of incense and of flame, that from the sky-roofed temple soil of earth a pilgrim hand lifts in an invisible shrine. There came the gift of a revealing hour. He saw through depths that reinterpret all, limited not now by the dull body's eyes, new found through an arch of clear discovery, this intimation of the world's delight, this wonder of the divine artist's make, carved like a nectar cup for thirsty gods. This breathing scripture of the Eternal's joy, this net of sweetness woven of aureate fire. Transformed, the delicate image face became a deeper nature's self-revealing sign, a gold leaf palimpsest of sacred births, a grave world symbol chiselled out of life. Her brow, a copy of clear, unstained heavens, was meditation's pedestal and defence, the very room and smile of musing space. Its brooding line, infinity's symbol curve. Amid her tresses' cloudy multitude, her long eyes shadowed as by wings of night, under that moon-gold forehead's dreaming breadth, were seas of love and thought that held the world. Marveling at life and earth, they saw truths far. A deathless meaning filled her mortal limbs, as in a golden vase's poignant line they seemed to carry the rhythmic sob of bliss, of earth's mute adoration towards heaven, released in beauty's cry of living form, towards the perfection of eternal things. Transparent grown, the ephemeral living dress bared the expressive deity to his view. Escaped from surface sight and mortal sense, the seizing harmony of its shapes became the strange, significant icon of a power renewing its inscrutable descent into a human figure of its works, that stood out in life's bold, abrupt relief on the soil of the evolving universe. A Godhead sculptured on a wall of thought, mirrored in the flowing hours and dimly shrined in matter as in a cathedral gay.